Today we make classic comfort food. I'm Eric Diego and welcome to Race at Flambe Live. Hopefully, with not me being muted. Okay, I see audio bars moving this time, so unlike last week, there's already less problems going on. Let me get my co-host, as usual, is Josie here. Josie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we could hear you.
I can't see you for 3 more seconds.
Well, obviously you're a little bit behind. And it'll be black for like an additional second or two because I had to click so many buttons. There's so many buttons to click in the background.
Wow.
But once again, I'm actually slowly starting to get this. Okay. So like I said, today we're going to be making ground beef stroganoff. I actually usually make this recipe with ground turkey, and I have never measured it, so this is going to be an interesting little, I won't say experiment. I guess today is really just finalizing the recipe so I can get it all written down and made in an episode of Race Up Flambe. But before I'm going to do that, I'm going to make myself a cocktail. This week I'm going to make myself a gin and tonic because, well, I can have wine. I did buy more bottles of wine, but I am not going to have wine today. I'm going to, instead, like I said, make that gin and tonic. I'm going to grab my glass out of the fridge. Oh, it's fridge freezer. Preload with ice. Got it cold. Also this week, assuming that if everything works out very well, is I need to turn on the camera, but let's see. This camera. Oh, the glass is in the way, but there you go. The camera's working better today too. Hopefully it stays that way. We'll have to wait and see, because I don't know if it will or not. Let me make my gin and tonic. I need the tonic out. And I realized I also need a bottle opener for this tonic. Because it is sealed. Use the edge of the can opener. So today, Josie, you're actually cooking something at home too, right? You're not actually just
yeah. Chilling in my room?
Yeah. So I know you aren't making what we're making though. You're making, I think as you described it earlier, rice-a-roni. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got the right kind of noodles. I got rice.
Uh-huh.
I got chicken broth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're ready to actually make this. Are you going to... I find it funny because I remember when we did the risotto episode, you're like, so basically rice-a-roni? I think you said at some point during that video. I just find it funny you're actually making...
I realized that there's pasta in macaroni.
Okay,
like,
so...
macaroni, I think short for macaroni.
Well, but isn't like vermi... I mean, it's looked up earlier, it's like vermicelli. I had... Okay, I've never actually... Oh, you actually... Okay, that's what you sent me a picture of. Okay. So I'm going to get my gin and tonic going. This recipe today should be actually relatively straightforward. And honestly, compared to last week's episode, this one actually might clock in about an hour. We'll have to wait and see, but we're going to get to that in just a few moments. Like I said, get my drink going here. So what else have you been doing this week? I feel like we haven't talked that much this week, Josie. But I've been doing tests.
I know.
You went on adventures, I heard.
Yeah.
You call it adventures?
Yeah.
Adventure time?
We went to a bunch of stores. And we got a power washer, so we washed all 5 of our kitchen colors.
Uh-huh. It's really bright. No, won't change the brightness. That's cool. Like I said, I've been doing tests. I did calculus tests earlier this week. And, matter of fact, I might get the notification of my grade while this is going live. So who knows? Maybe I could just take a break in a second and see what I got. Because I'm interested.
When's finals?
Finals are this upcoming week.
Okay.
So it's not exactly final week yet, but I will be done with my classes come Wednesday. Wednesday evening I will be done, theoretically.
Cool.
And then I'm on vacation for 3 weeks before I start summer semester and my last computer science class. So you should probably put in the gin.
Like more time for us to spend on Tabletop Simulator.
Yes. I'm probably going to go on that a little bit later. We'll see. Maybe. I'm not going to actually measure my gin. I'm just going to pour some in and see until it gets to a point where I'm like, yeah, that's probably good enough. I don't know. Maybe a tad bit more. I usually measure it with like a shot glass or something, but I'm honestly not feeling like doing that today, apparently. Oh, that's a lot of gin. That is a lot of gin. Oh well, it's going to be good no matter what.
The dog got skunked the other day.
Ew. Because it's actually the right amount of gin to fill up the glass. It's not centered on the screen there, but there's enough gin to fill up my glass with the rest of the tonic water, so I guess that is, one benefit of actually making it that way. So yeah, let me get a sip of this, and then we'll get going cooking. There's a piece of ice stuck at the very bottom. It froze to the bottom of the glass. There we go. I released it. Okay. That is actually pretty good. And actually not that strong, even though I put a lot of gin in that. Okay, so like I said earlier in the top of the show, something bad happened?
Let's just say I got a little too gold.
Oh, sorry, burning? Sorry, browning? Is that caramelizing?
Yeah, it's just noodles.
Well, those will go quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, today we're going to be making ground beef stroganoff. This is a classic comfort dish. I was actually looking up the origins of this. It actually started in the mid-19th century is what this came from. Apparently it's very popular also in Nordic countries, as well as around the world. For this, we're going to end up using ground beef, because you can actually use whatever type of meat you want. I usually use this with turkey. Originally, when I worked on this recipe and made this recipe numerous times, I would use using ground turkey. But today I'm going to use ground beef. You can also use, if you want to, beef strips. You have like a nice, well, it doesn't have to be nice. You have a steak of some sort, you cut into strips, and then cook those in your pan and get those. If you don't want to use that instead of ground beef, I just like ground beef. It's a little bit easier to work with. We're also going to use butter, yellow onion, garlic, mushrooms, flour, sour cream, beef broth or stock, Worcestershire sauce, and egg noodles. I actually have a pot of water on the stove over here. I have not started yet, so if you're going to make this at home, you probably want to start your water right now as well. Okay. Meanwhile, that's getting going, we're going to start heating up this pan right here with a little butter in it. Then we're going to start dicing our onion. So I realized something earlier this week, Josie. Well,
Which is?
The fact that whenever we've talked about looking at recipes in the past, like when you're learning, you want to make something for the first time, what's the one thing that you usually end up seeing quite a bit of nowadays when you're looking at recipes?
What do you mean?
Just
like
in general.
The life stories?
Yes, there is a lot of life stories involved with people and their cooking, I guess blogs, recipe websites, whatever you want to call it. But yeah.
I think it's better if, like, if you spell saying, oh, you want to just skip straight.
Skip straight to it?
Recipe. Here it is.
Yeah. Well, I think people are getting a little better about it, but it's definitely one of the big things I did notice. And I'm not saying the live streams are like that. I mean, they kind of are, but that's also because there's a lot of downtime cooking associated with it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to hopefully... We're injecting some fun into this process the entire time we're going through this. So I just put into my pan here about half stick of butter. Obviously half stick of my stick because my stick is a big giant stick. So basically, what is that, a quarter cup of butter I put into it? Maybe a little under a quarter cup. This quarter cup is a half stick, right? Each stick is, no, half. Each stick is a quarter cup.
Yeah,
so I put in...
No.
Math. Let's look at the side of it again.
It's a half.
Each stick is a half? But this is a pound of butter, so no, it's... So I put in 2 tablespoons of butter, which is not a quarter cup. That is an eighth of a cup. Fix that there. Because I wouldn't want that. Oh, Casey's like, whoa, your hair. Yes, my hair is very long.
Oh.
It's very long.
Look at the comments.
And
unless she's.
I also straightened a little bit. And Jeff's in the thing. No Mistaken Brothers this week, huh? We just have Jeff?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the Mistaken Brothers will show up at some point in this entire
I know
endeavor.
Jeff took the day off work, but I'm not sure about Case.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's go back to this camera. Okay, so now I'm going to actually... I have here half an onion. I ended up using a half an onion for dinner the other night, and actually I only was using a quarter of the onion, but I divided it in half already to go. Oh, Jeff's doing a count of people involved right now? Is that what's going on in the chat? I just looked at it and stopped talking. The count going like wavy, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I should be streaming it and watching it, but it might only count me as once.
It might. It might be by IP address.
Because it's the same account.
Or same account, yeah.
Well, it's the same login.
It's slow.
Alright.
I don't know what's slow. Is the stream slow? Is the
leak slow? That would be a good thing.
Oh, it's slow at work. That's what's going on. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out in there. There we go. That makes more sense. And they're probably still like everyone else about...
The brothers are here.
And that's the thing about doing this live stream on my perspective versus, I mean, even your perspective, Josie, you see it more than I do, is the massive delay that happens from what I say now to what you guys will see. Because I say something now and like 20 to 30 seconds later, you guys will actually see what I said. Anyway, back to the cooking.
Yeah, that's why I have to have my computer muted, well, YouTube muted, so that...
Because you'd be confused?
Through Discord.
Okay, because it would be confusing. I think, remember, so this side story before we go back into this is, cooking is, when we did, the first, like, I went back to watch a Let's Keep Talking and No Explodes video we did a while ago on live stream, and like, I was watching that while we were talking, and I responded to you through the video a second time because I thought you asked the same question again. I didn't realize it.
Oh.
Did you not catch that when we did that?
I don't think I did.
Okay. There was something where that happened. Anyway, back to cooking. My butter is almost melted, which is good.
Yeah, but like that was the most realistic I think we've ever played that game.
Oh yeah, because we, instead of turning our backs to the screen and hoping we don't see anything or look at reflection.
Yeah, like even if I wanted to cheat, I would have been 30 seconds behind or whatever.
So Jeff says... Yeah, Jeff said he is kind of making stroganoff tonight. What's kind of making stroganoff mean on that one, by the way? So anyway, I'm going to go back to prepping this since the butter is now melted. I have here a half an onion left over from a meal earlier this week. I'm going to cut this into half moons. I'm not going to dice this. I like the longer strands of onion in my final product. It gives a little bit of a, what would you say, a textural difference? It's not really texture, it's a visual difference, I guess, to have strips of onion versus the little tiny squares of onions, cubes. So.
Why is this not counting down yet?
Counting down, oh, on your Instapot? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, it is not sealed.
Well, that will do it.
That's why.
I like how I cut through this, but somehow it didn't cut through all of it.
Rubber.
The gasket?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to use half an onion in my recipe here.
What? Yeah.
That's good amount there. This onion looks a little bit woody in parts of it from the scan, but that would be fine. Okay. Just watching this in like 3 different locations to see where things are going. Okay, so I'm going to let these start to cook in this butter here for a little bit. And I'm going to actually add a little bit of salt to this, as well as some pepper. The salt is to help break down the cell walls in it, to get them to get a little bit tender. And we're going to cook these until they get a little bit of color on them. Not much, just a little bit. We just want them really tender and kind of more translucent than anything else.
There we go. Now.
I like pepper, if you haven't been able to tell.
7 minutes this time because I think I've.
So what are you talking about now? What's going on, Josie?
Oh. I got the pressure cooker going. But
okay.
now, I think I've already boiled the meat a little bit, so it doesn't have to be in
as long. Makes sense, I guess.
Lid going on the pot of rice.
I nearly lost where I put my mushrooms for some reason. That would have been really weird. So I just got sliced white mushrooms.
I put my mushrooms in hot chocolate.
Huh?
Oh.
How do you?
Oh, were you not here for that?
No, or I didn't see it in the chat or something. What did you do? You put like powdered mushrooms or something in it?
Have you heard? Yeah, have you heard of that like Four Sigmatic like coffee stuff? Where it's like got mushrooms and stuff in it.
I have not.
Basically, my mom got mushroom powder that's supposed to be for energy and cognition, and I just mix it into hot chocolate because coffee's gross.
I like coffee. I haven't had coffee in a couple of days, actually. That's the greater part.
Are you out?
No, I just haven't made it. It's just been really crazy the last few days, and I think the last time I made it was actually... I think I made some yesterday, actually. I did make some yesterday. I'm trying to think when I actually made coffee last.
Oh, I need to set the timer.
Okay, so I'm laying my onions right now. Get a little bit tender in this pan here. The butter's finally sizzling, which means we're going to start seeing the water evaporate out of the onions themselves to get a little bit tender. The water itself is slowly coming to a boil.
Now.
And once that comes to a full boil, we'll actually start our pasta. But we're probably going to start exactly right now because we got to start the meat and let that simmer. So we'll probably start the pasta in just a little bit. But the water will be boiling, ready to go once we get there. What you laughing about?
My mom says I should get a most improvement award for following directions. Who needs improvement? Oh.
I could
No,
totally.
she says I'd get a needs improvement.
A needs improvement award? Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I could move. Oh, look at maybe kind of see into the pot better. Right there.
Jeff says sausage.
Sausage. Okay, so there. That's the funny thing, actually. Now thinking about it, because so when I was looking up information about beef stroganoff, the Nordic countries use sausage in theirs when they do it.
We don't.
What do you guys use? Use like beef strips in yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. And I would actually probably prefer to use some sort of beef strips instead of ground beef, but I just, like I said, simpler is easy. I had it on hand, just pulled it out of the freezer. And it's one of the things I was trying to do with this meal is, this is all stuff that I had here basically. I didn't have to go out and get anything special for this. I already had, some beef broth left over. I had some Worcestershire sauce, sour cream. I have a massive thing of sour cream because I've been making banana bread quite a bit. And my banana bread recipe, I used to use the sour cream in it. I guess the only thing I had to buy was the mushrooms. That was the only thing I had to buy when I was out and about buying wine earlier. But I didn't want to do wine tonight, like I said. I did end up drinking that entire bottle of wine last night after the episode, and then spending like an hour and a half nearly outside talking to my neighbor. So, wasn't going to do that again tonight.
So, my disaster from last week with the accidentally cooking the garlic or ginger, crystallized ginger stuff. My mom prefers that version better than the store-bought stuff she has.
So in other words, you're saying it was a happy accident. Are we Bob Rossing this now? Is that what this food's turned into? Is Bob Ross?
No, she's also given it to other people, and they like it too.
Oh. So, in case you saw my camera holder, my little my makeshift camera holder. If I go back to full screen, Josie, and you'll happen to see it is Kaylee's old what was this? Her had the little knife and the peeler and all that stuff in it. I just stuck some pencils in it.
Knife set?
Yeah, it was a little knife set. I stuck some pencils in it and put the camera in it, and it's working well. I mean, it's better than last week when I was using my pocket knife and a tape dispenser. That was what I was using last week when I was filming this. It works really well, actually. It's probably the best thing I've thought of. And I thought of it literally with 2 minutes on the clock before I hit the go live button. So It's working out really well, actually.
Speaking, well, not that, but I have a new favorite LaCroix flavor.
Okay, what's your favorite
Key lime.
LaCroix? Key lime, okay.
Yeah, it tastes like key lime pie.
So, I guess you're not in the... I'm in the camp of LaCroix having not enough flavor in it. I don't like the subtleness of it.
I was like that, but then I haven't had a soda since, like, quarantine started.
Okay.
So
basically, the bubbliness is what you're looking for in it.
Well, no, it, like, tastes sweet if you aren't, like, used to, like, the sweetness of sugar, kind of.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay,
It
so...
makes sense in my head.
So my onions are nice and tender. You can see, possibly in the video, they're slightly getting a little bit golden in color. Not massively, like, caramelized, just slightly golden. I'm going to add to this now my garlic. So I'm going to pull out the minced garlic and throw that in there because, once again,
Oh,
I have no fresh garlic anymore.
Alfredo.
Ah, an Alfredo version. That does sound really good. I know Diane was talking about using cream mushroom soup instead of making the broth like we're going to do. And she also was using bison instead of beef.
When the
It's also
hell was
pretty
she
good.
talking about that?
Comment on the Facebook post.
Oh, gotcha.
So I just added about 2 cloves, maybe a clove and a half worth of garlic into the pan here. And get this like 30 seconds on here, then we're going to add the mushrooms to the pan. Smells like garlic in this house right now.
You used a shit ton.
I like garlic, okay? What can I say? I
know.
love garlic. I mean,
I just put a shit ton. Right.
if it was fresh garlic, it'd probably be better, but obviously the minced garlic is a little bit less potent than fresh garlic would be. Okay, now that those are in there, I'm going to add in the mushrooms. Let's see, I'm going to add in about half these mushrooms right now. Maybe a little bit over half, but about half of them in. I want these start to cook a little bit in here. Now my pan is looking a little bit dry. I'm going to add some more butter into this to give it some more, well, butter or fat to fry in.
Oh, you do have parsley. Fancy.
Parsley in your rice-a-roni? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. You know, it's hard to think of some of the words when you're just sitting here thinking. So I added about less than a tablespoon of butter in here, just enough to give it some more fat to continue cooking the added mushrooms.
Also, I found some frozen vegetables that I'm going to put in.
So what's going on in your... I didn't ask. What's going in all in this? Your... Jeez. Let me rephrase that. What is going in your rice-a-roni, not gourmet, rice-a-roni?
I got vermicelli pasta, or whatever the hell it's called.
Uh-huh.
Rice.
Okay.
My mom's chicken broth that she makes, because, you know, it's easy. And then, onion, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I just found some frozen carrots, corn, peas, green beans, and I'm gonna throw that in after it's done boiling.
Okay.
And then Yeah.
Did you drop off? Okay. I was gonna say, you just do it silent. I
No,
was sure you dropped off there.
The pressure cooker confuses.
Oh, okay. Add a little bit more salt to my onions, garlic, and mushroom here. If I go back to this camera. There we go.
In a second, because it looks like it's done.
Big golden color getting on all this. Nice brown color.
So for Mother's Day,
that's good.
I made.
That was last week, huh?
Yeah, I made your potato salad that we made. Yeah. Except instead of using like a half an onion, I used a whole onion, and instead of using 2 sticks of celery, I used entire thing.
Like entire stalk with like, what was that, like 5 or 6 sticks of it?
It was like 8 or 9.
Oh, it's more than that. I'm not much of a celery fan, so that's probably why I didn't put much in it when I made the recipe.
Oh, and then I put 4 eggs mixed in like your recipe said, but then I like did 2 more, and I used my egg slicer thing to make thin slices, and I top with it.
So you use the unitasker of an egg slicer.
No, you can also use it for mushrooms.
And I guess you could technically use it for fruit and other things. So I guess it's not just a single one item function.
It's about as useful as a citrus press. As a citrus press.
Oh, yeah. But the citrus press, at least you could, if you have like a big enough one, you could do oranges, you could do lemons, you could do limes. So, I mean, obviously it's all citrus, but then you could also use it probably, I'm guessing you said you use your big one, the big giant citrus press for doing pomegranates, right? You do pomegranate jelly?
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
This is not cooked all the way through. It's still like...
I'm gonna now... Go on. You just got cut off. Or disappeared.
Oh. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, but then you started talking, but I've decided I'm instant pot illiterate. Like, I'm not good at using this thing at all.
Uh-huh. So you're not gonna use it anymore?
Oh, no, I'm going to.
You just gotta learn how to use it.
Yeah.
Maybe Casey could help you. Okay, so I am right now evacuating my garlics, onions, and mushrooms from the pan. I'm now going to introduce the ground beef into it and start browning that off. Essentially, I put this stuff in the fridge, trying to remember where I put it, and I leave it in plain sight, and it just takes me a second to find it for some reason.
Hey, good thing I checked on it.
Okay. So I am using the same exact pan, didn't wipe anything out, so it's going to get all those flavors off the bottom of it, especially when we start making the sauce for it here in a little bit. I'm going to let this go and caramelize the meat. Is that the right word? Brown the meat? I don't know. I'm about to add a little salt and pepper to this. It's not grinding very well. There it goes. It must have had a little bit of a jam. Well, the fat's gonna also pick up some of that. What is it? What's the right word for it, Josie? All the stuck-on stuff. Spawn. That's the word. I was like, I think it was that, but I wasn't sure. It's gonna pick all that off the bottom of the pan. It's gonna get all nice and brought into this. While this is cooking, I'm going to start cooking my noodles because this whole process is going to go pretty quickly from here. Probably be done about 15 minutes from now, maybe 20. Which is going to be a record for RSF Live, I think. Do you really have a record?
RSF.
Oh. No, I think the records for RSF was all the mini bar episodes.
Oh yeah. I think those are Charlie's favorite for us to film.
So I'm not gonna make. If you're gonna make this for a family, you probably want to make an entire bag. I'm gonna make about half a bag, so I could save some of this sauce and meat for the future. So I cook off some fresh pasta and mix it all together. Matter of fact, actually, last week after the episode ended, let me put this in there. I did season that water. At the end of last week's episode, what was your last minute decision?
I'm adding.
Same Parmesan?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to say, last week after the episode, I took the remaining orange chicken without the sauce on it and put it in a bag to freeze. And I'm going to see if I could take this maybe one night this upcoming week, throw it in the oven and let it bake and see if it gets all crispy again, and make a new orange sauce for it and see how it comes out. Because actually, if that works out really well, it's a pretty simple meal you can make, throw in the freezer, and then make in the future. You know, basically it's cook it on a weekend when you have more time, and then on one of those weekdays we have no time, you just throw it back in the oven, like come back up to temperature, make some sauce real quickly, throw it on top. It's all good. And that's what I'm going to see, and if it does, I'll actually add that back to the original video just for people to know. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera very well or not, especially since it's so steamy over here, but this is picking up a lot of color from the bottom of this pan from all that stuck-on fawn. That's from the onions, the garlic, and that mushrooms I put in there. I also need to stir this pasta because I don't want it to stick together in one clump. Or stick to the bottom of the pot. I used about a pound of meat, by the way, for this. I forgot to mention that as I was throwing it in there. But basically, so far, I think the general estimate of how much everything we're going to use is about 3 tablespoons of butter, about a half pound, I think it is, of mushrooms, a half an onion, about 2 cloves of garlic. We're going to add into some of the reserve fat, not all the reserve fat. We're going to drain a little bit of this, but we're going to add into flour, and then we're going to add everything back into it. That's going to cook it all together, and then we'll add in the sauce to make, or add in stuff to make our sauce for it. The flour be as our thickener for it.
Casey is on team celery is gross.
It tastes like, okay, so for me...
It tastes like a pine tree. I get it.
Yeah, it tastes like a pine tree. I've said it so many times. Yeah, it tastes like a pine tree.
To me, it tastes like crunchy water.
I like, Casey said in the chat that it says it's good for stew. I agree. If it's stewed and gets a chance to blend with everything else and get softened down, it's a lot less intense. I don't think it's tuna. Ronnie likes it in tuna. I don't really care for it in tuna that much. I mean, it's fine. I guess if it's chopped fine enough, but when there's big chunks, maybe that's when I had the issue, because it's just such a big punch to the face. Now, the funny thing is I know Josie and everyone else could probably understand this, which is, I didn't care that much for cilantro. I still probably don't care too much for cilantro. However, after the first week of doing the burrito bowl, that burrito skillet, I've kind of grown fond of it, which is weird. I never really thought I would enjoy it.
It's just people always, like, it seems like they put way too much in.
Well, I think all my bad experiences stem from Chipotle and putting it into their rice. They put so much in there that it's ridiculous. And it permeates into the rice. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, so I don't need to rehash it, but yeah.
Is Charlie making a recipe for haggis?
Haggis? That sounds horrible.
Well, it looks like, well, not a recipe, but like a shopping list.
Oh, is that like oats and like other things on there?
No. It has sheep, cow, ox stomach, sheep gut, liver, heart, tongue, and lung.
Ew. So now I am going back to this meal.
Yeah.
Drain off
Back
about...
to this video.
Yeah, back to this, what we're doing right now. I drained off about 2 tablespoons of fat on that. Let that solidify and get rid of that later. I'm now going to reintroduce the vegetables and, I guess, fungus, in reality, mushroom back into it. And we're going to mix this all together. I'm going to check the pasta because I haven't done that in a little bit, and I did not set a timer for it. Good or bad? Do you think how long do you think it's been?
I have no idea. But I set a timer for my rice, and then I decided to check on it, and then like 3 minutes before the timer was up, which was a good idea. Because the liquid was already all gone.
It still needs a few more moments, or a few more minutes on there, so I'm good with that. So I'm gonna go back to this camera here, and I'm gonna add into the pan here now probably about a tablespoon of flour.
What? Oh, I can't tell who's talking to me.
Not me. I'm not saying anything. Let this cook for about 2 more minutes now, just get the raw flour flavor out of this, and then we're going to make our sauce. As we do that, I'm going to wait, have another sip in my cocktail here. Ah, that is good. Okay. I'm going to pull out a measuring cup and actually measure the amount of broth I'm about to put in this, because I feel like this is the biggest variable in the entire thing. I usually end up putting an eyeball amount of roughly 2 cups I want to say in. Ow. That was loud, Josie. What was that?
Oh, I'm stirring the pasta, rice.
Sounds like you're going smack, smack, smack.
Yeah, no, I was trying to smack it off the side of the spoon. You know? Like you do when you're done stirring.
Oh, you're going like this? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be that mean.
But, yeah.
Okay. Go back into this shot here, if I can, like... It's really good, actually. It's the meat and mushroom, onion, garlic together. The meat has gotten some nice brown, crunchy, crispy bits on there. It's got a nice, good texture to this final product. I am going to turn down the heat on this now, though. Check the pasta again, see if it's done or not. Don't want to overcook the pasta, that'll be bad.
Chicken.
Chicken? You
Yeah.
call me chicken for not wanting to overcook pasta? I want good tasting pasta.
I said I'm
Dropped
checking my chicken.
Oh, I thought you called me a chicken. It's like, I don't want undercooked pasta noodles, please.
Still pink.
Oh, those are actually done. I'm going to pull those out here in a second.
I don't think I need to pressurize it again. Turn this on to...
Okay, before I pull those out though, because they are basically there, but almost not 100% there, I'm going to pour in 2 cups of beef broth into this. Okay, now we're going to want to bring this up to a boil, and once it's at a full boil, we'll drop to a simmer and let it cook for a few minutes just to let it thicken up. Meanwhile, I'm going to drain my pasta. So one thing I forgot to pull out apparently is the sticky pasta strainer. Strainer, yeah. I think I got good timing on this recipe. Started the pasta at the right time. While getting my glasses at the same time. I'm actually put some water back in this pan and put it back on the burner, cool it down. Ow. Touch the side of that pan, that was hot. Okay, so my beef broth here is slowly coming back up to a boil, or a simmer was at. Let this come up a little bit more. Then once we're done, we're going to, or once it's up to a simmer and slightly thickened, we're going to add into it our sour cream. And then we'll be ready to serve. Once again, kind of a record for episodes in terms of cooking, it feels like, right, Josie?
Because it's only been 45 minutes since
Yeah,
it's been go live. Which
Yeah.
means it's only been like 40 minutes, which means it's been like 35 since you started cooking.
Yeah, because it took about 5 minutes to make a cocktail, as we talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's pretty much done too.
Man, this is I mean, compared to, I would say compared to other items we've done. I know we've done on the show in the past, we've done, I want to say, I can't remember what recipe it was, but we did at least 1 or 2 recipes in the past that were like, hey, these are supposed to be done, you know, on a weeknight when you get home, because they only take like 35 minutes to 45 minutes to do or something like that. I'd say this is probably one of those recipes that you could do, you know, midweek.
Yeah.
If I go back to the close-up shot here, you could probably see it's starting to thicken up actually from that flour in there. And then the last thing I'm going to add into this. Oh, one second. I almost forgot something. Last week I forgot something in the recipe.
What'd you forget?
I forgot the soy sauce last week. This week I forgot to put in nearly the Worcestershire sauce.
Oh. I decided I'm doing the reverse here. It's chicken.
Okay.
I'm
So
heating up oil.
So I added about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce into this, and I want that to simmer along with it. That adds a nice, ooh, just the smell of it evaporating off in here. Gives a nice good scent to it, everything here. Worcestershire sauce makes any beef dish just so much better, I feel like. Do you use Worcestershire sauce that often, Josie, on anything?
Yeah. I use it when I make ramen.
When you make ramen, that's interesting.
Well, and by make ramen, I mean I use instant ramen, but
Yeah, but
I do it completely different.
Is it like when...
I put
Go on.
I put the packet of seasoning in the water like right away, and then I add a little bit of soy sauce, Worcestershire, mirin.
So you go kind of all out, it seems like, on there.
Yeah, and then I add like sriracha, and then when it's done, I add a little bit more sriracha and some hoisin.
Okay.
To the noodles, but I don't really put very much of the broth in the noodles. Like I just use it to try to re-flavor the noodles.
Well, because there's a lot of sodium in those packets, so I can understand why. And if you added soy sauce to it, which is more sodium, unless you're using like lower sodium, not low.
Well, yeah, I use the less sodium soy sauce because it
tastes the same. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And then I only put like a splash in.
Okay, so I just put in about 1/4 cup of sour cream into this. Let's stir this in now.
Chicken just out of the Instant Pot is hot. Just pro tip.
I think anything out of anything that was cooking is hot.
Yeah. Alright. Then... look at this.
I mean, I guess that is the one nice feature of the Instant Pot, is that you can cook stuff that would take a lot longer to cook in less time.
Because what time did I call you at? Like 3:45?
Yeah, you jumped on the call about 3:45.
And that's when I took the frozen, the brick chicken out of the freezer, and it's already cooked.
That's good, I guess. So right now I am going to be putting on the plate some of the pasta. Just pulling out the sink, the strainer itself. There we go. It's a decent amount right there. I'm going to put some stuff away for my noodles with the delicious sauce.
Alright.
Meat mixture.
I will send you a picture of this.
Just so it's ready to go, or just so I can see it. Is that what you're going to do?
Well, in case you want to post it or whatever you want to do with it.
Oh yeah. Post it on the Instagram.
Too much color on the chicken?
Is that such a thing? Too much color? I mean, I guess you could try it out accidentally. I guess
no,
there's
I
such thing as
said
too much color.
Didn't get too much color.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was kind of like the orange chicken last week. I felt like if it was a little bit more golden brown, it would look a lot better than it did. But it came out really well, I think. Turn off the heat now, and I'm going to pull out...
God, this is bringing back
memories, what was you going to say?
Trying to take pictures of food.
Oh, yeah, we did a lot of that. But that's the joy of making food put on the internet.
I was gonna say, are you about to copyright?
Wait, what do you mean?
You almost said, and that's the joy of cooking.
Oh, I was not going to say that, but I am done. I have made beef stroganoff. I'm trying to hold it to the camera in a way that I can see it on both sides, but it looks really good. It came out, it's really piping hot. I want to eat this to try it out, but at the same time, I don't want to burn the roof of my mouth, so I'm going to give it a few moments before I test it and make sure it's all good. How much longer till you're done?
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, you're done?
I'm sending pictures right now.
Oh, okay. You're plating it up and sending pictures?
Oh, I just sent you pictures.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to try this out and see if it's hot.
And then, actually, you know, so that just in case you don't feel left out.
It's good flavor on this. Ooh. I think this is actually probably one of the best variations of I made of this. But
my mom wants to know if you put sour cream in that.
I did. I put about a quarter cup of sour cream in there in total.
You said yes.
2 hefty spoonfuls, which about 2 tablespoons apiece, went in there. But it's really good. Anyways, guys, if you guys want this recipe, I'll be posting it in the description down below a little bit later on, probably next day or two. For the rest of the recipes, you can go to our website at readysetflambe.tv. While you're there, you can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and am I using the right one? I think that's what we've been saying, right, in the past?
Yes.
It's coming back. It's coming back after all this time. But anyway, except for I haven't posted on Twitter.
Now I can point out that
I did post on Instagram recently, though.
ReadySetFlambe.tv will take you straight to this YouTube channel.
It does, right? It does take you, TV takes you straight to this YouTube channel. I have thought about making a formal website for everything, especially since some of the recipes from the first season, I'm going to go back through and retry making them, see if there's anything wrong with them, and actually might make tweaks to them, which would be kind of like, what's the right word for it? Not remixing, because we've already we called stuff remix. Reload the recipes? Using a term from Good Eats.
I was just gonna say.
Good Eats, I'm gonna reload them like Good Eats has been doing for Albrand's doing for his recipes. But
yeah.
I think we tried doing that with the remix in a way where we're just trying to take the same recipes and twist them into something new. But I think it's probably good to go back and also revise some recipes because meanwhile, I mean, a lot of the recipes have been going online. It's been like not thrown together, but we didn't have detailed notes. We kind of just made them as we went along and put them together on the website, so it's just kind of interesting to see, and maybe the value is a little bit wrong. I don't know. Anyways, guys, until next time, I'm Eric. You say your name? You say your name, Josie?
I did, and I'm Josie.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Thank you guys for watching.
While I was opening the door.
Oh, okay. Thank you for watching. Next week we'll be back with another live stream. I don't know what we're going to be making yet, but it'll be posted probably on Sunday or Monday. Till then, see ya.
See ya.
That one.